The topic we chose was sportswomen and social media. The article was analyzing sportswomen and social media, bringing third-wave feminism, post-feminism, and neoliberal feminism into conversation. The authors are Holly Thorpe, Kim Tofritoli, and Tony Bruce. The first article we chose is Female Athletes' Self-Representation on Social Media by Kim Tofritoli and Holly Thorpe. This article examines 5 female athletes and how they represent themselves via social media. It also analyzes their marketing strategies through neoliberal and post-feminist framework. In doing so, they discovered 3 strategies that allow athletes to display themselves. They include self-love, self-disclosure, and self-empowerment. There are 3 main reasons that I decided to choose this article over possible others. The first reason was that it's similar to the assigned readings and relates to the ideas of neoliberalism and post-feminism and how it used in sports and social media. Specifically, the article touches on how women created their own way of getting media coverage they deserve, generating their success, and proudly showing off who they are physically and mentally. The next reason I chose this article is it adds depth to our understanding of female athletes in the media and identifying the strategies they use. The first strategy they used was self-love, and it portrayed social media in form of body positivity and loving your body. The example the article chose was a portrayal of Serena Williams expressing love for your body to other African American women and how they are empowered and beautiful as they come. Secondly, was self-disclosure, which is when athletes are showing their audience a little behind the scenes into their personal lives and gives fans a way to connect to them and gives the fans the idea that the athletes are authentic and real. Lastly, was self-empowerment and showing how women are empowered by what they do and what they post on social media. The final reason I chose this article was it highlights conformity to gender expectations as well as challenges them in social media. Through analyzing this article, I noticed how these athletes are playing into gender expectations by expressing sexuality and blending athleticism and femininity, as well as they challenge it by celebrating their uniqueness. For example, the article uses Serena Williams as celebrating how she's a muscular build and just the uniqueness that comes with that. Next are the strengths and weaknesses of this article. Some of the strengths that I found was it identifies strategies that international athletes use in their social media. It just creates another way of analyzing it. Another strength was how it uses real-world case studies, like the 5 international athletes that it uses, to examine how female athletes portray themselves in social media. I think these give great insights into the analysis of female athletes and how they represent themselves. The weaknesses that I found were that we don't know exactly what the women are trying to say in their posts and what their intention was. And we also don't know who's controlling their social media, if it's them or if it's a family member or an agent or something like this. Another weakness is that it fails to analyze how athletes who do not fit gender expectations and aren't as big and how they navigate social media. The athletes that were selected are all like high-level athletes and have a large following and for the most part fit gender norms. So yeah, just doesn't give the full analysis on people who might not fit this criteria.
Okay, so for my article, I chose Analyzing Media Representations of Sportswomen, Expanding the Conceptual Boundaries Using a Post-Feminist Sensibility. The author was Kim Tofritoli, and I found this credible source on the Mac Library where I searched for keywords like sportswomen and media to get us an article that would relate to our group topic. Okay, so this article examines sportswomen's portrayal through a critical post-feminist lens. The article analyzes how media representation can appear empowering yet subtly reinforce traditional gender norms. It also explores the tension between empowerment and objectification in female athletes' media representations. And as well, Tofritoli analyzes how gender norms and consumer culture intersect, showing that sportswomen's visibility is shaped by societal expectations and the pressures of branding. Okay, so both articles utilize a post-feminist lens for analyzing depictions of women in sports. The main connection is the correlation between the empowerment versus objectification debate, which is a central theme for understanding sportswomen's online portrayals. So, for example, in Sportswomen and Social Media, the authors express how social media allows female athletes to represent themselves, where Tofuletti expands this thought by questioning if this truly empowers them or just reinforces stereotypes. And finally, she also examines the impact of consumer culture, emphasizing that while media does provide visibility, market pressures and gender norms continue to limit true representation for female athletes. And so overall, the strength of Tofuletti's article lies in its critical examination of post-feminism, showing how empowering or quote-unquote empowering portrayals in media often align with consumeristic ideas rather than the female athlete's true autonomy. And this perspective strengthens the argument by adding depth to our understanding of gender representation in sports. It emphasizes that empowerment in social media may and is mostly limited by persistent social expectations and commercial pressures.
So the article that I chose is titled Activism in Women's Sports Blogs, Fandom and Feminist Potential by Antunovich and Hardin. I found this article on the McMaster Library using specific keywords such as sportswomen and media. This article that I chose offers a complementary perspective. It focuses on sports blogs and highlights how these platforms foster community-driven activism. This adds another dimension to the discussion of feminism by emphasizing collective activism rather than just individual self-promotion. Why this article and how does it relate to the reading? Both articles address the opportunities and challenges female athletes face in digital media. Thorpe focuses on individual athletes navigating gender roles through self-representation. In contrast, Antunovich and Hardin highlight the potential of fan-driven blogs to promote feminist activism and build communities. Both articles also touch on how online platforms promote and empower feminist ideas, and how women athletes navigate gender roles in their respective sports. So together, these articles provide a more complete picture of how media can empower women in sports, both through personal branding and collective activism. This combination shows that empowerment can happen on both individual and community levels, though there are still challenges with gender inequality in media spaces. I noticed that while the article does provide valuable understandings into personal branding and community activism, its focus is on content that's fan-driven rather than what the athlete actually wants to represent.
So article number 4. The title of my article is New Rules for New Times, Sportswomen in Media Representation in the Third Wave. The authors are Tony Bruce. I found it on the McMaster Library, and the keywords I searched to find this article was sportswomen in media. So why this article? This article focuses on women in sports over the last 10 years and how perceptions of women in sports have changed in light of more recent laws and regulations. Both of these articles discuss women in sports and have important third-wave feminist-related points. And it also addresses the challenges women face in sports and what society perceives of them. So the strengths and limitations of this article. The strengths are it cites multiple studies conducted over the last 10 years that provide official justifications for the significant shift in perceptions of women in sports. It also examines such issues and how they relate to various regions of the world, and the research is well structured, and it identifies third-wave feminism, media, and culture. The limitations of this article is it uses outdated research to support some important points, which is problematic because it affects how current and relevant issues are. Due to feminists conducting the research, there may be bias in the findings. And then this is our works cited page with everyone's sources and also the source that we decided to go off of.